So tonight I'm going to do a little parkerizing. Here's for my M77 build, Yugoslavian M77 build. Here's the receiver. And here's some parts I did yesterday. See how nice and black they are? Nice and black. I'm going to do the magazine. Look how dirty that is inside. I'm going to do this piece. It's just, I mean, it's not too bad, but I just kind of want everything nice. And for this one, I don't want that battle-worn look. I want it to look nice and clean, just like the receiver. Because I'm going to put freshly re-stained wood on it. I think it's going to look pretty cool. And the gas block, you can tell that thing's definitely needs some parkerizing love. It's almost silver again. So the steps are, number one, if you've never done parkerizing, you have to have a little setup. So the first step is a dip in the ultrasonic cleaner bath. For some reason this one's on metric. It's at 42 and rising up to 80 degrees Celsius, which is like, I think like 168 or 170 degrees. And I'll do a 30-minute dunk. So that's cleaning up. That's just some gun cleaner. You can get it off Amazon. Alright, and then another thing you're going to need is definitely this stuff. I got this one off. Nope, this one. Off Duracoat website. That's the black dip parkerizing pre-dip. So if you do not dunk your items in this before you parkerize, it'll come out a really dark gray. There's the parkerizing solution right there. And so the goal is black. Now after parkerizing, you want to dunk it in that stuff. It's almost like motor oil, but I don't know. Steel Vantage makes it. It's pretty cool. And then there's the sandblast cabinet right there. And here's my tanks. They're from Big Jim's. This one's water. Nothing in it but just water. Nothing's heated up right now. Once I start this video again, I'll reheat it. And then here's the solution tank. Made some parkerizing yesterday, but you can reuse this stuff. And actually, since I have a small garage, after I'm done with it, I store all this stuff in these tubs, these big jugs, save it. So it'll go from ultrasonic cleaner. And once you put it in there, that's the last time you want to touch it with your bare hands. You want to have gloves on. Then it'll go to the sandblaster. Get all the other. I mean, I could sandblast first, but with all the grease and stuff on there, especially in the magazine, you're just going to gunk up your sandblaster. So it's better just to. I'm not going to parkerize the spring, obviously. I'm just going to clean that. Once it goes from there, then I stick them in my simple green or purple power little prep tank until they're ready. Once they're ready and everything's heated up, once this is heated up, I spray them off with air hose, and then I hang them with a wire hanger. You dunk them in there for like 5 to 10 minutes to get all the degreaser off of it. It also brings the part up to temperature. And then I'll move that over here closer when I'm done. Then you got to dip it in the pre-dip for about 10 seconds. And then you dip it back in the water for about 15 seconds. And then you dunk it in the park tank. And actually within about 5-10 minutes it's done. So, alright, let me get everything cleaned up and warmed up and I'll come back. Alright, so my ultrasonic cleaner's up to 80 degrees Celsius, which is like 176 degrees, something like that. And then there's all the parts. So, I'm going to take the lid off. And then I'm going to put them for a dunk. But I think I'll take her up to 40 minutes just for shits and giggles. Alright, they're in there. full wave max. There she goes. Okay, so 40 minutes and the ultrasonic cleaner has passed. Still steaming. Got the stuff out. Remember, once you ultrasonic, you don't want to touch it with your bare hands because you'll get oil. So looks kind of rough, but the big part about this process is get all the grease off of it. Make sure everything's nice and clean before it goes in the sandblaster. There's the rear sight block. Nice and clean. And so the next step is the sandblaster. On another note, back to the tanks. So I went ahead and replaced the water. So it's back to clean water. And it's easy. You just drain it out into a 5-gallon bucket that was there, and then here's my hose. And just pour it out. Anyway, for the park tank, it's heating up right now. What's that? It's about 100 degrees. So this is the Big Jim's parkerizing tank with the propane heat base. So the heat goes up there. I got a fan in the garage, so ain't like I'm gonna suffocate or nothing. There's the propane tank, and there she is. So if you want to turn her up, there you go. So the ideal temperature is 180 degrees. And then for new solution, if you do use new solution, you have to prep it with some steel wool. Directions are on the bottle. And then when your park solution's cooled down and done, you can actually just reuse it. Just drain it back into this thing and reuse it after it cools. And then there are two there's a Duracoat. So this one is 1 gallon to 4 gallons, and this is a 5.5 gallon jug, so that's why I got 4 gallons of water. And you have to use distilled water. You can't use. And then the Steel Vantage is like some 1 to 28 weird ass, but you can see it's darker green, so it's concentrated. But you can use that too, as long as you get the proportions right. All right, so the next step for these parts, some of them, obviously not the springs or anything, is to put them in the sandblaster, and I'll be back. Okay, so everything's in the cabinet, ready to go. For the small pieces, you get one of these things from a Harbor Freight magnet holder, but just make sure you stick it so it's vertical, because your dexterity with the gloves on. And then I just got to sandblast them. I mean, there's not really rocket science there. Anyway, the tanks. So for the freshwater tank, I just use regular electric burners. It's heating up, you can hear it starting to steam. But for the parkerizing tank, I first use burners, but what happens is it creates a hot point in the tank. And the stuff started to cauterize at the bottom. So it's best to use something like that right there, a burner. I mean, did it work when I first started? Yeah, it worked. But anyway, let me get this stuff sandblasted and I'll be back. Alright, so I got some of the stuff done. Right there, sandblasted. Gotta be perfect, but I had to take a break. I don't know how guys can stand in front of these damn cabinets for fucking 8 hours and do this shit. But if you're, I guess, in industrial work with sandblasting, you do this stuff for 8 hours a day. But after about 5 minutes, I'm done. All right, let me finish up this. Oh, and if you buy a sandblast cabinet, I got this off Amazon. Not sure the name. You know, there goes an air compressor. I got a huge tank on the other side of the wall. Yeah, you can't run these off small tanks. So as far as my medium, that's all I'm using from Harbor Freight. Alright, so again, sandblasting cabinet. I have to give kudos to the sandblasters that do this stuff all day, the industrial guys, for 8 hours. I had to take like 5 breaks just for these few pieces because, I don't know, just leaning over, the noise, the sandblaster. But anyway, alright, let's blow these off with the air hose and stick them in the Simple Green tank. Alright, so everything is blown off. It's time for the Simple Green Purple Power dunk tank. So we just pretty much stick it on there. And I will scrub it with my brush. So you pretty much dunk everything. Dunk. And dunk everything. And then scrub it. Just to make sure all the fingerprints are off for any, I don't know. Just scrub it. And then she's going to get ready for the this tank. What's my thing up to? Oh, I'm getting there. I'm close. Alright, so this next process happens pretty quick. So I'm going to just show you the magazine. You can see it's slurping in purple hue. So the first thing I have to do, oops, don't let my damn stick fall off, is I can't stick it in the water like this. I got to blow it off with a blowtorch or the air hose over there. And then I'm going to dunk it in the water, get it up to heat, and then I'm going to dunk it in the pre-dip solution right there. And then I'm going to dunk it back in the water, and then I'm going to dunk it in the tank, which is now at a little bit above 180. So I only have one hand, so from the solution, degrease, blow it off with an air hose, dip it in the tank, get it up to heat about, I don't know, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, a minute. Dip it in the pre-dip, let it sit in there for 10 seconds, and then dip it back in the tank for about 10 to 15 seconds, and then dip it in the Park solution. Alright, so just for this one piece, alright, she's in the water tank now. Just let her sit in there. Make sure she doesn't touch the bottom. And according to the directions, I don't know, give her 30, 45 seconds, just so it heats up. So I'm just going to let the camera roll. Blah, blah, blah. And when you do a bunch of pieces, then you have a line going on. And so it goes from this, to that, and then to that. And it's just kind of a assembly line. Make sure all the air bubbles are out of it. This is just pure water, no additives. I always make sure it's boiling. My temperature, yep, I'm still good. On my dunk tank. Alright, so I'm not doing a barrel or a receiver, so this is pretty thin metal. Alright. Give it about 5 more seconds. And what you want to do is, when the piece comes out, the water pretty much evaporates by itself. And you can see it start to do that. See the water evaporate? Give it a shake. See the water evaporate? Alright. Now, over to your pre-dip. And you can actually watch the chemical process start already. It's already starting to turn black. So you count down from 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. No more, no less. And then you stick her in the parkerizing tank. And here she goes. Just like that. And you'll start to see the bubbles form. You can see she's already starting to turn black. And there's bubbles forming. Alright, so that's pretty much it. I got a bunch of other pieces in here. I got this. But the principle's the same. Blow off in the air hose. Stick it in the water tank. Let it heat it up. Once you pull it out, hold on a second, let the water evaporate. Stick it in the pre-dip for about 10 seconds. Stick it back in the water tank. I think I forgot to do that. Anyway, it should be alright. Stick it back in the water tank and then stick it in that for about 5 minutes, and I'll let you know what she comes out. Alright, so here's the front side block. Okay, she was in here, then I blew her off the air hose. I'm going to stick her in here. Alright, so she's been there about a minute. Let her come out. She should start to almost dry by herself. Look at that. Shake off the excess water. See how it's all coming off. Alright, stick her in the dunk tank. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take her out. Look, she's already black. Stick her back in the dunk tank. Just for a little bit. That's just the directions. Alright. And then stick her in the park tank. There she goes. Alright, so it's been about, I don't know, 5 minutes in the park tank for the magazine. Look at that, nice and black. I'll let her sit for about another, I don't know, a minute. There's the front side block. There's this piece. She's sitting in there. Been there about, I don't know, 30 seconds. That's good enough. She's not too thick. If you have a barrel or something or a receiver, you need to let it sit longer. But for thin metal, make sure the water's drained out. And watch how the water evaporates. Okay. Stick her in the pre-dip. Look how she turns black already. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake her off. And stick her in the park tank. Oh, my bad. Quick dunk in the water for the directions. Shake all the excess water off of it. Stick her in the park tank. And she's going to start to fizzle. There she goes. See the fizzling? That's what you want. You want the fizzling. It's like CO2. Alright, so the magazine has been there about 10 minutes. Another quick dip in the water. It's just plain water, nothing toxic. And then I'm going to go over there to the post-dip tank. Because if you don't put it in the post-dip tank, it's going to start to, I don't know, it turns all fucking gray and shit. You gotta be quick too. Bring her over, just dunk her in. Like that. And let it sit till it cools. Alright, let's do the front side block. That sucker's been here long enough. Look at that, nice and black. Alright, back in the water tank. Alright, shake out the excess water. And over to the post-dip tank. And just let her sit. Alright. So another cool thing about Big James is they make this bin. They have a bunch of small parts. You just throw them in there. Same process. After they come out of the dunk, you blow them off the air hose. Dunk them in water for about a minute, maybe a minute and a half. Then bring them out, and you can see the water evaporate. Dunk them in the pre-dip while it's still in the bin, and you just throw the whole bin in there. And then just kind of stir them up a little bit. That way you change up what's on bottom and what's touching metal. Okay. Alright, so I'm done with the parkerizing. Once this tank, which is just water, I'll throw out. I'll drain it into a 5-gallon bucket. It's just clean water. This tank, which is full of parkerizing solution, I'll actually drain it. Once it cools down, I'll bring it back into this tank and reuse it. I mean, shit, each gallon of the parkerizing is over $100, so reuse it. The cleaning solution from this tank will be drained back into this jug to be reused, because that's, I don't know, there's no reason to, I don't know, throw it out. Alright, so here's the parking neutralizer tank. I got gloves on. I don't know what this stuff exactly made of, but alright, I throw it in a turkey baster. Let's grab it all. And actually, when I'm done with this stuff, I'll actually pour it back in that jug, so it's not just hanging out. Alright, make sure you got everything. Another piece. There's a piece. I think I've got it all. Oh, one more piece. Yeah. That's the front sling swivel for the M77. Alright, so then, oh, fucking nasty. To reduce this stuff to something you can handle, I'd spray it with WD-40 and then blow it off an air hose, so it kind of dissolves this stuff so it's handleable and all gooey. Then I'll come back. Okay, so parkerize is complete. She's kind of laid out rough. And there's a couple parts over there not involved, but you can see I've redone the stock, redone the pistol grip, redone hand guards, parkerizing. Remember, this was the gas block that was kind of silver earlier. Now she's nice and black. So, alright. I'm going to build her up into a Yugoslavian M7 308 Winchester. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to keep this. I don't know. I'll probably let it fly away to no. Oh, by the way, if you're getting into parkerizing, buy stainless steel wire off Amazon. You can get it for like 100 yards or something for way cheaper than at your local hardware store, because you have to use stainless steel wire in the tank. So, side note, stainless steel wire. It's pretty thin stuff, but it works. So, anyway, you can see parkerizing. It's still kind of shiny because of the WD-40 that I used to get off the solution, but you can see it darkens up. There's the front sight block that I showed earlier. This is original. Actually, this is not original. So when I got the kit, this was actually from the factory where they imported it. And but look at the magazine. Remember, it was all kind of shiny and jacked up. I mean, it's kind of shiny right now, but that's because WD-40 once that dries. But I got nice and clean shoes inside. And so that's parkerizing. the barrel. I bought the barrel with the kit. Had to do a little mod on the handguard retainer because it wouldn't close like it should. Other than that, I hope you enjoy my video for how to parkerize. You need tanks. You need a sandblaster. You can get away without an ultrasonic cleaner, but it's nice. I mean, you can get these Harbor Freight for a lot cheaper, but I build guns, so. And you definitely need parkerizing neutralizer. You need a simple green bath, and you definitely need your black dip right here. Without your black dip, your damn Parker will come out gray. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and happy AK building. Oh, and P.S. this is my garage, so the tanks, after I fill them or defill them and clean them out, they go down there next to another tank. Ultrasonic cleaner goes down there, and there's my press. So if you have a small garage, doesn't mean you can't create really high quality firearms. You just have to have the right tools. So that's the biggest expense right there. Go to biggems.com if you would like to learn how to purchase these tanks as well as the propane heater.